Hello folks, welcome back to another Tayar podcast session. This episode we will be reviewing our evening at Banshee Labyrinth in Edinburgh on Friday the 25th of April, where we attended the Live and Wilder event hosted by Scotland Rocks Radio. The three bands that we seen that night were The Devil's Forfeit, Hollywood Vault and Bad Actress. I'm going to start by saying thanks to everyone who listened to the Crom podcast that we released recently, and also thank you very much to the Crom themselves, Alan, Frankie, Dan and Lee. Thank you very much for helping us get your music review out there. So this episode will cover the Live and Wilder event. The first band that was on that night was Hollywood Vault. They're an Edinburgh based band. Neil, take it over, share your thoughts.
Yeah, so first thing I'd like to mention is the venue. I love the Banshee's Labyrinth. It is kind of underneath the North Bridge, underneath the road. It's down Nidri Street, or up if you come from the bottom. The venue itself, it has a bar on what we shall call the ground floor. You go down, it's got vaulted rooms through the back, it's got a private bar through the back, it's got two private bars through the back, it's got a room, it's got a cinema in the pub, and it's got call it the front room, the bottom right, which is the gig room. They put on gigs in the other rooms as well if they're busy, but yeah, the venue is brilliant. I mean, it's not massive. It's capacity 150, I'd say, in that room. That's all you need.
Nah, I don't know if it was
100.
Yeah, I thought it was about 80 to 100. It's really not a wide room at all. It kind of looks big, but it's not big.
Man, 100, 150 people. It was a buzzing night.
Yeah. See, of all the gigs that we've seen as part of TR Podcast, this event was our 10th music review. I felt the sound was this was one of the best sounds that I've heard.
Yeah, I've seen bands in there. I saw one of my favourite bands of all time, The Last Cry. They came up from the south coast of England and played in the Banshee's Labyrinth, and the sound echoes in that cavern. The cavern makes it as well. I mean, a bit like down at Bannerman's, just further down at the bottom on Nidri Street in the Cowgate. That's underneath in the vaults as well, and the sound in there can be absolutely amazing as well. I mean, we saw Hollywood Vault and Banshees before we started doing this.
So we seen them at Bannerman's.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, sorry, in Bannerman's, yes.
Yeah, we see them in Bannerman's.
We've seen them in Bannerman's in the back room, and Bannerman's in the vaulted room there.
I've never been to a gig at Banshees. Well, other than that night that you and I went
our first night.
Yeah, that was going back to the Jojo Coke night. Yeah. There was a metal event on, and it was to raise funds, I believe, for Syria?
Palestine? Something
like that, yeah.
But we didn't stay.
No,
we went and saw Jojo Coke. So, yeah. Just quick heads up for the venue. It's absolutely amazing. If you get to go and see a gig there, I would go definitely 100%. Support the venue, support the small independent venues, support live music. So, Hollywood Vault consists of 5-piece, drummer, bass, lead, guitar, rhythm, guitar and singer. They rocked the place. I mean, Scotland Rocks Radio supported them. They said that, they know them, they're an Edinburgh band, and they came on. They've had a few lineup changes since the last time we saw them, but I thought they were even better. They were even louder. They rocked even harder. Yeah, the guys know what they're doing. Gave me a very Guns N' Roses feel to the music. They did a 35-minute set, which was required of them, and they never stopped rocking. Everything
that you say I agree with. The singer that they've got now, the last time we seen him play, which was November 23, he was on bass guitar. And then you've got, I don't know his name, but the lead guitarist, he's been consistent. It was Neil's friend Campbell, who used to play sort of rhythm or second guitar in that band. that lineup changed, I got speaking to the new guitar player. He's a bit of a metal guitarist, he cited himself as, but he does love rock and roll as well. Great fit, really good energy I thought that he brought to the band as well. The drummer, I was thinking about this today actually, the drummer was really, really good. I think his name's Chris. My eyes were locked on him most of the night just to see what he was doing. Again, the majority of drummers that we've seen here, what he did fitted the song. It just sat in the songs, and everything was just, it was on cue. It was the correct cue. His fills were correct, his rhythms were correct. It was just perfect for the music that Holyrood Vault make. He did some things, but he wasn't flashy, and he didn't play anything that he couldn't handle, which all adds to the performance at the end of the night. And I was really impressed. I felt that I have to admit this, I felt that the tempo did it kind of fluctuated once or twice in the song. I thought at one point that he kind of fumbled a wee bit, or there was something not quite right. It wasn't matching the synchronicity of the guitars. But on a whole, that drummer was really, really good. When I go to see bands, I love listening to the drummers to see how they are dictating the pulse of the song. And Chris, like Kieran from Spoke Too Soon, and like Louis of Bad Actress, their consistency was extremely good. The biggest change then for Holyrood Vault would have been the vocalist. I remember the first vocalist that we seen them with, he kind of had a higher pitched voice.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure if that really matched the energy that Holyrood Vault were trying to portray at that moment in time. He was good, but I feel the one that they have now, the bass player, since he stepped up, I think the energy in that is far much more better. I think when we were speaking to him, he just said he was kind of getting into the position of being a front man and a singer. Perhaps he still needs to kind of work on his vocals, not in terms of his singing pitch, but more of his confidence. But I thought the charisma and energy that he had projected very, very well in that, and he definitely dominated that crowd. I really enjoyed that, and he was so passionate about performing with the band, and his presence was very strong and definitely a centre of attention. I really was blown away by that. I mean, the dual guitaring with the new metal guitarist in it as well, he fitted the bill. He had great energy in it as well. But for me, the drums and the lead vocalist, they blew me away in that band. Holyrood Vault are a band that we need to get a longer set of and definitely review.
And support, 100%. They are Scottish, local, independent music makers that hopefully will have a big future, and yeah, we need to support them and help them and go and see them and spread the word.
Yeah, Holyrood Vault play badass rock and roll. Now, speaking of rock and roll, this is extremely biased, but definitely my favourite band of the night. We bought tickets in support of Bad Actress because Neil and I are both very strong fans of that band, but this, it definitely, I mean, there was no question about it. They definitely blew that away. But then on saying that, Chick and Louis, they've been going at that. I don't know how long Tommy's been doing it. I'm assuming it'll be about the same length of time. So either two or the three of them.
So the first thing,
for 6 years.
First thing we've got to discuss is, again, Bad Actress has had a lineup change.
Yes.
We have a new vocalist.
Yep. So we got chatting with the boys. If you're a fan of Bad Actress and you've been following them on their social media, we're not going to delve into it, but previous vocalist they had, Toby, unfortunately he's left the band. They've replaced him with Louis, who was the drummer in Bad Actress.
Now, I remember reviewing Bad Actress previously, and I said that Louis reminded me of Animal from the Muppets.
Yeah.
Hasn't really changed. His hair's still there. I mean, he's front and centre, so it doesn't take us 3 songs to actually find him or see him anymore. He's there, front and centre. He is rocking the night away, leading the band where he should be. And definitely. I believe he's found his place in the band. He's up front, he's centre stage, and he is where he deserves to be.
From his vocal duties, that was the first time that Neil and I have ever seen him. We don't look at social media. When we're coming to a gig, we try not to listen or watch things on social media, because we want our experience to be fresh on that night. So I know that they'd played sort of Mac Murray before. They also done the gig on the open top, or on top of the bar or restaurant, whatever it was, with that lineup change in it. But for me, I feel it was perfect on drums. However, I completely agree with you that Louis is definitely the centre of attention in that band. Absolutely. Watching what he does on the drum kit is phenomenal, and every single time that I go to see Bad Actress, my eyes are constantly drawn to Louis and to Tommy, because Tommy is a phenomenal guitar player. Yeah, sure. Chick definitely, he's the main engine behind that band. You could totally see it, and every time I look at him as well, because he's sort of important. He's just crucial. His guitar playing is awesome. Chick, right? So he's brilliant. But I strongly feel that Louis is the centre of attention in that band. When you go to learn guitar, a lot of people think of Jimmy Page, Angus Young, sort of the leading guitarists of the band. So basically your lead guitarists, the ones that showcase themselves.
So your Slash, your Brian May.
Aye, Slash. Well, yeah, see, so Brian May and Jimmy Page, you can't really say much about it because they're the only guitarists in that band. But Slash, Angus Young, Kirk Hammett, if you want, sort of, they're the lead guitarists. So they're the ones that have to have the flashy guitar solos or the amazing sounding lead passages. Their lead work has to be on point in order to capture the audience's attention. Now, Chick does that, but it's what Tommy does underneath. There's things that Tommy does that just completely blows my mind, and it makes me think rhythm guitar players are completely underrated. If Tommy didn't do what he did, I don't think he would make Chick sound as good as what he does. I don't mean to sort of degrade either one of them.
So they're a team and they're playing, they're all playing their position.
Yeah.
You know, just take it as a five-a-side football team.
Absolutely.
They are playing their position. Absolutely. And everybody's playing it well.
Yeah,
and, you know, the goalkeeper's come out and he's now centre forward. He's knocking out goals. He's doing the job. And, you know, they've got somebody else on drums. They've got somebody else on bass. But it is hopefully a solid lineup to move forward with now. I mean, they're playing down south in a couple of weeks, you know. They're still on the road. They're still the hardest working band that I know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they've got things in the pipeline.
Just to sum up, Bad Actress, new lineup, still rocking hard, still the hardest working band in Scotland as far as we're concerned.
Definitely.
And they still really have our support and our love. I mean, Bad Actress, yeah guys, we love you. You rock hard and we love it. So, brings us on to our third band of the evening, which was The Devil's Forfeit.
Yeah.
Now, that was a 4-piece, bass, drums, guitar and female vocalist. The blues rock quartet. They were interesting. They played blues rock. They played their set 35 minutes.
Can you call it blues rock?
That's what it was introduced as. Where do you want to put the pigeonhole?
I felt it was more sort of southern rock.
Southern blues, southern rock.
Yeah. New
Orleans.
I'm not taking away from you, but yes, there was definitely a blues influence on there. But I also heard kind of a Staxy thing. It made me think of Big Bear and the Holding Company. That sort of sound. The sort of early American rock, late 60s sound. Not necessarily Booker T and the MGs, but it had that generic kind of stemming from blues, but with a bit of a grunt and a soul twist in there as well.
So their music, totally different from the first two bands.
Yeah, it was very vintage.
It was, it's Battle of the Bands. They had three bands. They had two rock bands and a southern blues rock band, which, was totally different, but chalk and cheese. I felt that the lead guitarist did most of the heavy lifting because he was on his own. I think the band would be better with a keyboard player or another guitarist
a second rhythm accompaniment instrument
in there, so he didn't have to work so hard to do it all. The vocals, she sang very well. Bass player, drummer, on point, but I just felt it was very thin. Could have done maybe a bit of brass in there, maybe a bit of saxophone, I don't know. Something else to bring it alive more. It just felt very, very thin to me.
The bass player was good. I did enjoy the bass player, but he just kind of sat there in that pocket. He just kind of sat in that groove, and
he did a bit of backing vocals as well, but not much.
Yeah, he wasn't necessarily minimalist, but he was more sort of just comfortable in a loop. And that could be argued for the drummer as well. He kind of done one or two fills, and he was fine. His performance was great. I'm not critiquing it in a negative way at all, but it could have been interesting if he had some sort of improvisations at a point, or certain cues and songs to drive his live performance a bit better. As you say, the guitarist, it felt like he was doing a lot of the heavy lifting. He was moving a lot around on stage as well. He had a lot of energy about him, which was really, really good. I was kind of locked into seeing what he was doing. A lot of their songwriting sort of structure, it seemed to be very minimalistic. It kind of just, again, it's going back to this jam band sort of sound, and it kind of sat in
What was the guitar he was playing again?
Oh, it was a Gretsch.
So it made a certain southern, tinny sound.
And he had a bit of a dirt, he had a bit of a drive going through it as well.
Yeah, it was definitely a southern, tinny sound. As I say, he did all the heavy lifting. The songs were written more on the guitar than the vocals that I thought. They came on, they performed, and wasn't my sort of thing, but nothing wrong with them if you like blues rock.
Aye, they definitely had a bit of a following though. Definitely. I mean, you could hear, I would have said sort of late 60s American rock sound, but even things like Led Zeppelin, you could hear that Jimmy Page sort of sound going on in there, what he's doing sort of rhythmically as opposed to his lead work. You also had even Jimi Hendrix to an element. There was sort of phrases that he would use that you could tell it was borrowed from that era's sound in general, or even Hendrix's playing. There was little elements that you could hear.
I mean, we're not new to blues rock. I mean, we went and saw Els Bailey, and Els Bailey had 3 guitars, drums, bass, keyboard. It was a mixture of electric and acoustic on the stage, plus her vocals. There was about 8 on the stage for Els Bailey, where this 4-piece, The Devil's Forfeit, I think it just needed more for me.
Personally, it's not a genre that I go to.
No.
However, the performance is definitely supported, so they've definitely got an audience out there, and we could certainly recommend them. I mean, they were really, really
if you like southern rock, go for it.
Really good at what they did. For me personally, that night, the Bad Actress definitely stole the show.
Well, they won the night.
They won the night.
They won the night.
So, how it was concluded, the judges picked on ticket sales, there was audience participation,
social media advertising.
Yeah, social media, and then there was the judges' input as well. So there was about 4 or 5 elements that decided who the overall winner was, and yeah, the overall winner, without a doubt, was Bad Actress. So,
they said it was only 19 points between Bad Actress and the second band.
Mm-hmm. So we don't know who finished where, but all we know is that Bad Actress won the night, and congratulations to Bad Actress, well done. But significant praise to both Hollywood Vault and The Devil's Forfeit. That night, so far this year, that night was probably the best night that I've experienced.
Small independent venue. I mean, we've been to bigger venues, SWG 3,000-4,000 people sell out, but you know, it's getting to the small independent venue, seeing a band where you can literally stand in front of them and
an arm's length away.
Yeah,
not even
an arm's
that,
length
a toes length away.
Yeah, you get the feeling. It gives you goosebumps if you enjoy the music.
Yeah.
Go and see live music. Give a shout out to Neil from Inverness and Neil from Scotland Rocks Radio.
Yeah. Voice Scotland Rock Radio. They've certainly done well. Definitely done well.
And if you like rock music, listen to Scotland Rocks Radio. That will help as well.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast.
Thanks, guys.
We hope it's swayed your opinion on going to support local live music. Check out The Devil's Forfeit, Hollywood Vault, and Bad Actress on both Facebook and Instagram. There will be links there to where you can hear their music, probably on Spotify, or I know some of them have got YouTube channels as well. So make sure that you check it out. Get in touch. If there's any bands that you want us to review, I know that I've had on Instagram, I know that a few people have actually commented in suggesting to go and hear some local talent in Edinburgh, and in fact I think they're scattered over the central belt in Scotland, so thank you for that, for letting us know. In the meantime, if you've got any other bands that you like, please let us know in the comments. Thank you.
My dreams took my